Phantom Force HK416, a rifle which is associated with paired to rifles like the Honey Badger, AS-FAL, AUG, and its assault rifle variants, really anything which is considered to be a sweaty, homunculus tryhard gun used by the most sweatiest, shakiest, spazziest, jumpiest, most unseen by the sun type of player. We're talking about anything that gets close to a Hikikomori, this is probably it. Phantom Force HK416, Petrified's favorite rifle in PF. Well, when he used to play the game, that concept sort of lost its meaning, didn't it? Also HK417, so I can knock out 2 guns in one video. It still counts.
What in the world just happened right there? I just 3-tapped that man in the head and he died and the game ended.
The HK416 is a short external gas piston rifle utilizing the 5.56x45 NATO ammunition. Some firearms nerds might point out the fact that it's quite similar to the M4 carbine, almost too similar. So what's up with that, you might ask? And that's a good question. First, I'm gonna have to give a small background historical lesson. It's gonna be short and not as detailed as an average Forgotten Weapons or SmallArmsSolution or whatever historian, veteran, or firearms engineer's video going into depth based on aforementioned gun YouTuber stereotypes insert here. Hi, welcome to NPFR. I make videos reviewing LEGO guns on a Roblox FPS game. This is one of many shticks I do on my channel, and spoiler alert, it's not getting old anytime soon. The M4 carbine was introduced into SOCOM in 1995 due to a need for a more modern rifle. Although the M16 was a modernized rifle and upgraded to a better rifle compared to the mess it used to be previously when it was first introduced into the later parts of the Vietnam War, the M16 and the IAR M27 platform by association. By the late 90s was really showing its age. The demand for a newer rifle would be accelerated by 2001 due to, well, September 11th and the entire mess lasting about 20 years, which to some extent is still going on until today. The War on Terror, as it was called, had changed how America fought war, had completely changed. SOCOM needed something that was nimble as an MP5 but had the firing power of an M16. A little while after SOCOM adopted the Colt M4 carbine was well into its service life and already had started to show some major issues, such as carbon deposit buildup in the gas block, resulting in the rifle operating at higher pressures until the results were the barrel would kamikaze into shrapnel. In addition, 2 pins which held up the structure of the rifle together would break all the time, resulting in priming issues alongside an occasion of which where the ammunition would do backflips between the receiver and the magazine. This would be known as a death jam because either way, if it's in combat, you die. If it's in the range, well, it's gonna be a waste of time. Colt would eventually resolve these glaring issues by improving the overall quality of the gun and providing the M4 carbines with heavier barrels, but this happens much later on after the whole fiasco that I'm about to briefly summarize in a minute. HK had saw an opportunity where Colt had slacked off in the quality and design department. HK decided to modify the M4 by replacing the M4's gassing system with an external piston, similar to the G36, well, almost exactly the same as the G36. HK would name their newly modified creation the HK M4. Let's just say that this is a really obvious lawsuit waiting to happen. Colt will challenge HK in court. However, HK took a passive approach to this challenging and decided to change the designation of their newly modified rifle to the HK416, though at the time it was still just an M4 carbine with a G36 gas piston system, also known as PMOD. SOCOM would see this as a sort of solution to Colt's lack of quality in the M4 carbine, so SOCOM held a conference in 2004 weapons modification. HK would propose that they could fix the M4 while also getting their foot in the door for those sweet military US contracts, because who wouldn't want American tax dollars for R&D programs? Jobs for you, jobs for me, jobs for everyone, until you find out that those were the same bombs that leveled the small complex where many families lived. Man, it's either making bombs to kill religious fanatics with families and civilians in the collateral while paying for those same bombs in your yearly taxes, or becoming homeless. Man, I love America. Aren't we just the greatest? This seemed like a win-win for both companies, but Colt wasn't willing to negotiate any deal. The unfortunate result would be that HK couldn't use the M4 platform anymore to develop their own rifles. Basically no PMOD, but SOCOM did provide a test rifle for HK to use to test the M4 as much as HK wanted to. As for the HK416 and where it was going at this point, Well, HK had to develop a rifle on their own. Additional parts were also added as a suggestion by SOCOM, such as the ejection port cover alongside different bullet carrier designs. In 2004, SOCOM would test the newly developed HK416 with a 1200 rounds non-stop firing test. However, it wasn't widely accepted by SOCOM, especially because the Colt had introduced a SOCOM barrel to the M4, and that was enough for SOCOM to give the M4 carbine another chance, which secured Colt's position as the main provider for SOCOM's rifles. 2006 to 2007 would be the pinnacle of the SOCOM trials. Also, FN had joined in the mix to replace the M4 with the SCAR series, on top of HK shilling out propaganda and paying journalists to write literal slander against the Colt M4, while Colt was in legal battles with HK. It was a mess. There were multiple instances of sabotage on HK's behalf alongside FN with the dust test controversy, when Colt was informed that they could use newer rifles while they were using well-used rifles for the 60,000 round dust test. It was a real mess, and the US government had to intervene to choose the M4 carbine, and SOCOM wound up being stuck with all kinds of rifles in their inventory, but the M4 carbine ultimately won out. The HK416 has significant service history, to the point where one mission involving the killing of an infamous leader of a terrorist organization and being adopted worldwide overall by many countries. Eventually, its successor would be the M27 IAR, which was basically the HK416 but with a 16-inch barrel. The Marines considered it over the Colt's IAR weapon submission, and it would be the replacement for FN's M27 squad automatic weapon, for a multitude of reasons, mainly that the Marine Corps just wanted a gas piston system instead of an internal blow-by system. Ultimately, the M27 would go on to be the arsenal of the Marine Corps, and HK won the IAR contract, but it would still have some issues, such as ammo feeding when switched to the MA55 ammunition, and HK had issues selling their rifles to Germany because they were a wallop of an expense compared to Haynel, which was making cheaper HK-style rifles. HK tried to make the SLA, which was a cheaper option for consumers, but boy, if you know anything about the SLA or watch SmallArmsSolutions, you would know how much of a disaster the rifle was, and how much of an effect it would have on HK's reputation. Probably the worst thing HK has ever sold. And that's a brief history. It's a brief explanation of how the rifle was developed, nothing too detailed. It's not SmallArmsSolutions video or Ian McConn's Forgotten Weapons. Oh, god damn it. Hey, it's a Phantom Forces video. It's better than most. In Phantom Forces version 6.0.1, to be specific, Styles keeps changing the stats. Don't complain to me. I have nothing to do with game stats balancing. The HK416 is unlocked at rank 64. Yeah, I just do these so people just listen to them in the background anyway. It doesn't like even matter. There are like 5+ people that do this on Phantom YouTube. They cover stats and balancing of guns. People like Strider, Spirals, Ruby, formerly known as Oscar, changed name for gender identity reasons. It's whatever. Some Steven, God Status. Yeah, you know God Status. Sometimes gloats about how good the G36 is and how much he wants to make love to it.
Okay, so like a few days ago, I was talking about how I really like the G36. Over the years, it's been consistently good. Hasn't been crazy nerfed or nothing.
Or he will complain giga hard about how nerfed it got, or like.
And then, like, 2 days later, they nerfed the G36 in the test place.
Recently nerf. It's pointless and almost annoying for me to read out the stats and layouts, but I'll just do it anyway. The 416 assault rifle is unlocked at rank 64, dealing 31 damage at 80 studs, dropping off to 23 at 160 studs. It's a 4-hit to the torso at 80 studs and a 5-hit at 160 studs. 1.4 head multiplier with the 5.56 NATO ammunition, with a walloping 850 rounds per minute fire rate with a standard 3120 ammo capacity. Let's go to a Spirals video and rip a Spirals layout from his video called Continuing to Play Phantom Forces Until the End of Time, Not Crying for Help. Yeah, okay, sure, whatever you say. And you get the mother of all comp layouts. Pretty much it. Not much recoil, very little recoil, it's accurate, 850 rounds per minute fire rate. Yeah, it feels like a COD gun. It's what everyone wanted. I'd also recommend the pistol grip, even though it has a low ADS speed. You get an overall better acu, hip, and sight accuracy. Though, use the benefits with caution. And some people might say that folding grip is better since the majority of the players have a fast ADS, constantly running playstyle. Ha! Oh my god, he almost damaged me. Holy shit. I'm sure you get the point. With a minimum amount of recoil, agile handling, and a fast fire rate, it's a really obvious reason why sweaties and comp players use this gun. A lot. Ha! Nice try, jackass. You tried to escape, but you failed. You see, I have a DCL 120 on my assault rifle. That's so much. I have a DCL 120 on my assault rifle. What are you gonna do about it, retard? See, my gun is superior. I get it. You don't. I am superior. Duke Nukem boys. Okay, I'm getting shot from nowhere. It's time to bail. The 417 on the other hand is a battle rifle unlocked at rank 78. It does 40 at 70 studs, tapering off to 32 at 70 studs. With a 1.1 multi to the torso, it does 3 tap to the torso at 70 studs, with a 1.4 to the head and 2 taps at 40 studs. But the benefits wear off as the damage drops off downrange, and you're left with a 3 tapper at all ranges, with horrendous recoil. Meaty say. That really didn't help. Actually, I would have died if that guy didn't. Being sick also doesn't help. Its fire rate is average to slow for an assault rifle, but decent for a battle rifle at 600 rounds per minute. But we all know you're not spraying with the 417 with its garbage recoil, and with a 120 ammo capacity using the 7.62 NATO ammunition. The ammo usage is going to be conservative at best, and it has the same ADS value as the Scar H, but I'd rather use the Scar H. Attachments are going to be reflex, skeleton grip, AR suppressor, and tri-laser, and that really depends if you want to use this battle rifle. I'd say give it a shot. You're not pissing off anyone. And that's the HK 416 and 417 review. Really should be called the M27 IAR. They probably didn't want to take a chance since HK is probably going to take the same road as Colt is when it comes to lawsuits, so Styles is playing a pretty smart move when it comes to not dealing with legal battles. Well, except with Glock, when they had to change it to block or something like that. Block 17 and block 18. Anyways, thank you for watching. Leave a like if you like this kind of stuff. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the kind of content. I'll be posting like every month or whenever I get a chance, since I'm going to college and work. I don't really have the time to make videos. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next Normie Phantom Forces review.